Good morning, everyone. We got Chris see again. Distefano, I know.
There you go.
Thank you. And now we got Bobby Slayton.
Still hello. Yeah,
there you go.
Still recuperating from Montreal, which, by the way, I saw Norton. I'm sorry I didn't see you up there. But
I was in and out, brother.
But you broadcast like a live time, like 5, 6 a.m.? So you didn't get to like hang out and go to a lot of shows, right?
No, it was stupid. We were just dumb because, all you guys like to stay out late or you're doing sets late, and then we want you on the radio at 7 in the morning. It's just dumb. Well, if we do it again, we're gonna move the time.
See, I'm one of those guys now that I'm old, that I'm up 5, 6 a.m. anyway. So it's not like the old days when I used to go, like Norton did you've been going there for years, and I don't know if you've slowed down at all, but hosting the Nasty Show, you do like 2, 3 shows a night,
right.
And then everybody parties at the hotel, and you're drinking a lot, you're doing other things, and you're hanging out till 3, 4 in the morning. But now, since I have to host somebody's shows, I'm usually in bed by 1 or 2. I'm a good boy, and I was up every morning at 6 a.m. I would have loved to have done that.
That's being a good boy, going to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning.
Well, when your show's over at midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock,
What's your poison?
Yeah, a couple of vodkas. Actually, I'm turning gay. White wine now.
White wine?
I know. No, only when I'm working.
It's not gay to drink white wine unless you're splashed on your back.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I was one of those guys who never drank that.
Get it.
Next thing you know, I'll buy a cat. No. But you know what? When you're doing 3 shows a night, I used to sit there drinking the vodka, and that stuff slowly creeps up on you.
And it used to be blow, too, right?
Not like I used to. I'll do it if you got it. I don't buy it. I'm 59. I can't really do it anymore.
I didn't say
You're 59 years old?
Oh. What's that?
You're 59?
59.
Older.
You look great, man.
But you know what I used to do? Yeah, for 59. Like Keith Richards. I used to do 3 shows a night, which I'm still doing. But at 5 o'clock at night, I'd have dinner and a bottle of red, and then start doing a little bit of blow. Not like Sam Kennison lines of blow, but a little bit of blow. And then by 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'm getting a little too old for that. You gotta.
When was the last time you did blow?
Time is it? No, I did a little bit in Montreal, actually.
Jesus, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, maybe, just a little. You know what? If you were working at night and you were doing 3 shows,
no, I've been offered it a million times, but I haven't done it in so long.
I've never done it.
But you must have some.
Don't do it, man.
Yeah, I've never done it either.
Yeah, that's Joe Matarese, by the way. We didn't introduce
Hi, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't know. Can I talk?
Yeah,
no, I don't know. I don't know if any of us could talk when Bobby's in the room.
I'm going to let Joe talk. It was my idea to have him on the show because he has a great story for you guys.
I mean, it's your idea.
Well, I mentioned it to Norton. You should have him on the show.
Oh, is that how all this started?
Yes. This is all my fault.
It did. Bobby came up to me at Moishe's in Montreal, this Jewish steakhouse, which is hysterical. They serve steak with pickles and coleslaw.
Isn't that a moving company, too?
Moishe's? I don't know.
There's a place like that on the Lower East Side, by the way, called Sammy's.
Is there?
And it's amazing.
This place was the best coleslaw I've ever had in my life.
And the steaks are the one on the Lower East Side, a Jewish steak place. It's amazing. And
really?
And they got some guy playing a piano and all these goofy songs. And
love it. I love it.
It's a good time.
So he came up to me in the restaurant, and he's like, dude, I guess you have kids. Anyone with kids that was at the Montreal Comedy Festival was coming up to me saying, we saw you on America's Got Talent. Congratulations. Like, they didn't know the next part was airing.
Right.
That was making me cry in my bed while I was in Montreal. I was like curled up. Like, my wife's texting me while it's airing, and I got to perform in front of 3,000 people on the Gabriel Iglesias Gala.
What does having a kid have to do with it? You said anybody has a kid?
Yeah.
People that watch, that's one of those shows that if you have kids, you sit down and you can watch it with them, and
it's family entertainment, I guess.
Yeah. But why do they have America's Got Talent in Canada?
It airs there. They had NBC.
Stupid.
Yeah, they beep out the word America. That's something,
So Bobby came up to me and he goes, "Dude, you got to talk about this on Opie because it's you got screwed." So that's how it came up, and then he goes, I'll talk to Norton, and then I opened for Norton Saturday night up in Montreal and asked if I could come on here. But
I actually watched the show with my wife. It's one of those guilty pleasures because they do have some really, I don't watch any of those, talent shows, but America's Got Talent is kind of cool. It's something I can watch with my wife, and he shuts her up for an hour, so we get to eat dinner, and she's not talking. And we saw you on the show, and your first appearance on the show, Big Nose down the hall, Howard went crazy about your appearance. You did a great set, and Norton knows this. Doing 2 minutes on television, I mean, it's not natural. It's like Last Comic Standing.
Did you call Howard Stern a big nose?
Well, it's my love.
You got a big nose, though.
I know.
Oh, all right.
My fella big nose.
I guess you're allowed to say that because you got a big nose. It's kind of like the black thing, right?
Yeah, but if I did have a big nose, I would say it.
It's actually 90 seconds. It's not even 2 minutes.
That's really hard, man.
A 90-second set.
You came to do a setup.
No.
So the first set was great.
So the first set, standing ovation here in Newark.
You're in Newark.
That's what they take.
Where was it? Newark.
You're in Newark.
At the J-Pack, is that what
You
it's
got a
called?
standing ovation in Newark?
At the J-Pack. It's like 2,500 seat theater.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting around. Every time you do a reality show, people don't realize when they're watching at home, you're sitting there for 13 hours in your comedy outfit, you know, just sitting there waiting. I'm at 46 years old. I like to
You're 46 years old?
Yeah, I like
Holy
to show up
shit.
at the gig and go on. I don't like waiting 13 hours. I get exhausted. You look
Great.
sweaty on television.
Why 13 hours?
Yeah, you're
Why
just
couldn't they
sitting
tell
there.
you to come later in the day?
They don't know if they're going to need you. They want to film you
Yeah.
doing some weird shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of like.
They
Put
have to
that
film you in
outfit
that.
on.
They have to film you in that room with everybody else.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
they need to show you. You got to be blurry in the background of somebody else's shot. They need people there.
And you said you were in your comedy costume. Do you dress like Batman? I mean, I don't know that I don't wear costume. You wear a costume?
I do.
A comedy
It's a
costume?
clan outfit.
Utility belt? When you ever get I guess it's got to suck. You wear the mask, the hood. That's got to be tough for you.
Jesus, Bobby.
Well, you said you had a comedy costume.
you did.
I wear a T-shirt on stage.
What kind of costume? All right. What's your
Well,
costume?
what happens is
I'll
you
go with
have
it, Bobby.
It's like being in a movie. It's like there's like someone going, all right, can you wear what you wore episode 1, and then they'll go, now put on round 2 outfit. Put back on round 1 outfit.
So they can air it when they want, in whatever order they want.
They know how to blur things in the background to make it look like. I mean, if you watch America's Got Talent, you don't know if they're shooting in L.A., New Jersey, New York. They blend it all together. All of a sudden, if you're looking close, you notice Howie Mandel's wearing a different shirt. But like other than that, it blends all together.
Right. Okay. So the first set was great. You were very happy, right?
It was like, to me, this is going to sound crazy, but I've been doing stand-up 26 years. I've been on a lot of things. It was probably my greatest moment on TV.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted him to come on, because I saw it, and I've known Joe for years, and he was so happy. His set went beautifully, and Howard, or Big Nose, as I like to call him, was raving and ranting how great you were, and you were. And then my wife saw you a week later, and tell him what happened.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that point. No, I want to slow it down a little bit.
Okay, slow it down. So what do you want to know?
Well, because then what happens is there's a whole bunch of comics on the show, so then they decide they could only have one comic to move forward.
No, not really.
By the finals, that's the truth.
By the finals, yeah.
By the finals, everyone has to fit in a slot. You got the comic, you got the magician, you got the dance group, you got the whatever.
Right. Yeah. So you want to be the comic. That's what you're trying to do. And
so you're competing basically against Dan Natterman and the rest of the comics mostly. Because in the end, they're going to get rid of all of you except one.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. You go.
Oh, I've seen the show enough to know. Absolutely, that's what happens.
That's what
They
happens.
don't want 3 comedians fighting it out at the end.
They want variety at the end.
But last night, like I think 12 or 13 acts went up, and they're picking 5, and 7 are going home.
Right. Okay.
So you think they got to have one comedian?
Is there any comedians left?
And they can. You're saying that they can alter it, even if they didn't get the votes from America.
Yes.
They can alter it.
I
right.
think there's something in there where they. Yes, of course. Because I mean, it would be horrible for the show if all of a sudden there were 3 comics for the finale.
Well, this is something in the contracts, because I did 2 episodes of
Joe.
Last Comic Standing, season 2 or 3. I think it was season 2. And I had an MTV contract, so I had to leave it. But Natterman was on my season, and I was in Vegas, and we realized I couldn't shoot in Vegas because there was no way to get out of the Viacom contract. So Natterman went on, and Drew Carey was one of the judges, and so was Brett Butler. And that was the year that Natterman destroyed. And he absolutely got the judges' votes, and he didn't move on to go into the House or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And Drew Carey freaked out, and fucking Brett Butler was like, what the fuck, we voted for this guy?
Right.
And then the fine print of, well, the judges can be overridden or whatever it is by the producers.
Exactly.
So that's probably the same thing with you.
Because they're writing, it's not a reality
It's a
show.
script in a way.
It's
yeah.
a script.
And if it happens to work out the way it's supposed to, it's great. But if it doesn't, they fix it.
Just like the Real World House and all that. They want perfect casting in the end.
Yeah.
Perfect variety show would be a comic, a magician, like I said, a dance group, and throw a few others in there, the wacky act, and then you got a nice finale for everybody.
Right.
They don't give a fuck who is the most talented.
No, and you could feel that it's scripted because they almost just keep asking you the same question. They know you're going to break at some point. You're there for 13 hours. If I asked you 80 times, is your career over?
I tell you, yes, the first. You saved them a lot of time.
Yes, fuck, we got it the first time. First time we asked them. That's funny.
So they just they keep, and then they even tell you what material they want, like your wife and kid stuff. So do wife and kid. You got to do the wife and kid stuff. And you start sending them material. It's like doing the Letterman or something. You start sending in material.
Wait, you writing it? You texting it to them, or you emailing them jokes?
They're making you videotape it. I'm real OCD, so they're literally like, "Oh, you can just talk into your iPhone and send it." I'm like, I'm a comedian. You guys are probably the same way. I am never going to send you a tape with no audience there. That is always what you're told not to do. Right. So I would go into a club and I would do the set. If I had to edit it a little bit to take out jokes I wasn't submitting, I would, and I would send it to them.
Right, sure.
Yeah, so then, so I get the standing ovation, all that goes on, I'm riding high, they come to my house, they film me at my house, and now you start getting excited. You're like, I don't even know, I wasn't even going, I want $1 million, I want to win $1 million. Like, I'm like, I need to come in, like, the quarterfinals. Like, I want to get on, like, 2 or 3 times at Radio City. That could really be it's insane the numbers that show does. Right. I mean, just that standing ovation, I got 1 million people tweeting and Facebooking, and oh my God, people I haven't talked to since I was like 8 years old are sending me messages. Oh my God, so great. They showed your family. That was amazing. Because they know how to make it heartfelt and funny. Right. So then it takes this whole huge, it's like, it's almost like a sitcom that had a real moment mixed in.
Right, of course.
And are you feeling like, as this is happening, you're like, oh shit, I'm breaking through. This is something real, and it's going to make something great happen.
Right. I'm going to be able to start filling clubs.
And more importantly, and you feel like you're in control of your destiny. Because I think that's key to the story here.
Yeah.
You're feeling like, all right, if I play it like I have been, I'm going to do really well here. But now you realize, oh boy, there's a lot of shit that goes on behind the scenes.
And I felt like I'm
the edits and stuff.
And I feel like I'm finally at a point in my career where I can go in a huge pressure situation and still do really well. Right. Like I used to, when you start out, you get nervous. You watch comedians that you think are great on TV, and you're like, oh, he isn't as great. Well, it's harder on TV because there's this pressure and there's cameras.
Right. And the restrictions on what you can do, and it's like just less. It's got to be like, in a little box as opposed to kind of free flowing and comfortable.
Right. Yeah. So then
they filmed at your house.
So they do all that, and then you have to still wait. You're like, all right, they could still not use you. You're like, you get a standing ovation, and you still have to wait and find out if you're going to get on the next round. You're like, oh my God.
But didn't they tell you? Because don't they say, we voted and you're moving on?
That doesn't. Yeah, they say that. That doesn't matter. They could cut you out. I know. That's happened in the past. There's guys that have gotten standing ovations. You never see them at all. So,
they don't even make the actual show.
No, they'll cut you out completely for some reason.
Holy fuck.
So what is better? You sit there and go, well, airing and doing really well, and then them airing and making you look bad, or just not airing at all. Right. It's hard to know. What in show business is better?
So there are people that got a standing ovation, but they didn't fit the mold, like I was saying earlier. So they're like, all right, it's too bad he killed for Radio City, but we already have our magician or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
I think that's what happens.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So then you go into the next round, which, they filmed here next to what's the Intrepid? They have all these like area, what's it called? Where boats, the cruise ships piers in. They become holding rooms over there. Okay. So we go there. And, you're in your next outfit.
Costume.
And you're told they
I haven't watched this year, so you were on TV, right?
Yeah, I was that standing
before.
Do we have those sets at all or no?
Yeah.
Your first set where you killed, that made TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
They even edited, I'm so anal, they even edited that in a way. Like, comedians hate it. I'm like, could you leave the 2 seconds that explains the next punchline? They take that out. There's a bit I do about being in an over 40 men's softball league. Right. And that 9 out of 12 guys on our team had injuries, but none of the injuries were from playing softball. We're all old. I'm like, and the one line that they took out is, good thing they didn't broadcast these games because it would sound sad. And then I do the announcer. Right. Steve, I don't know if you heard about Joe Matarese, the left center fielder. He's going to be out for about a month and a half. He tore his rotator cuff putting a Pottery Barn desk up into his third-story attic. And I go, Pete Strumsky, the first baseman, he's going to be out for a while too. He blew out his ACL stepping over a baby gate at 2 a.m.
Right.
Like that's the joke. They cut out the
kind of need the setup there.
They didn't put the setup,
Right.
so you just all of a sudden hear me going, "Hey, Steve!" Look like I'm such a douche.
Do we have it? It's only a minute, like a minute.
Yeah, I want to see his set.
I want to see it, yeah, because he obviously did really, really well.
Now, is that the first set you're talking about when you said
When he killed?
He got a standing ovation, and then you said you were like on the air, you were dreaming. He was so happy, Opie. You had to see how thrilled he was.
Well, even on this is another showing how anal I am on the YouTube clip. They don't play the greatest line for me, which is I love Howard Stern. I grew up on Howard Stern, and to me the best moment for me when I'm performing is when Howard Stern goes, "Wow, that was amazing and inspirational. You did the 2 things a comedian needs to do. You were funny," and I think that's when he says inspirational, something like that.
And they cut it out of the show.
They cut that out of the YouTube. It aired on TV.
Oh, okay.
So you're not going to hear it here, but that was...
But at least you got it on the TV, which has a lot of viewers. What are you guys laughing
When
at?
he was searching
What's
for
going
Joe,
on?
when you search for Joe Matarese stand-up, on the bottom right, other videos similar, it said Indonesian transsexual Muslims. There was a video for
Well,
that.
maybe they're just saying good things.
and they beat you on America's Got Talent. They're still in the running.
Yes.
Indonesia's got talent too, apparently.
Just this happy Indonesian transsexual Muslim just looking up at Joe's video. All right.
So this is your first set that did very well and made the show. Okay.
This is longer because there's a little montage here.
That's
They're
you
going
and
to show
your
my
daughter,
kids, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. I don't know if you
that's
want to go
cool.
right to the
No,
stand-up.
I want to see this. Go ahead.
Make it big, Sam, so we can enjoy it. Fuck's sake.
Yes.
I think I can do it. My name's Joe. I'm from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and I'm going to be doing stand-up comedy today. Been doing stand-up comedy since I was 19 years old. My parents so support me now,
Picture
but
montage.
my grandma, still to this day, I will go, "Are you still doing comedy?" Like it's some sort of bad addiction. I'm trying to quit. I'm just taking it one joke at a time right now. I don't know what to tell you, Grandma.
Good luck, Daddy.
Thank you. This will be the first time I'm ever performing in front of my kids, so I really don't want it to go badly. It's like getting beat up in front of your son. You don't want that to happen.
Family hug.
Family hug.
Family hug.
I think this is what I was meant to do.
Go for it. They're ready for you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, who are you?
I'm Joe Matarese.
Are you going to be singing for us today?
Thank God, no.
Oh.
I'm a stand-up comic.
You are?
Yes.
Are you here by yourself?
No, I have my wife and my 2 kids right over there.
Oh, nice.
Yes, my kid's first time ever seeing me do stand-up. My wife's probably 4,000th time seeing me do stand-up.
So does she think that you're funny?
I think so, except when the act is too specific about her.
All right. Go for it. Let's hear it.
See, Daddy?
Let's start with my age. I'm 46 years old. Here's a sign you're getting old. When you go to an empty bar and you go, "I love this place. This place is dead. It's my new hangout. I love it." Here's another sign I'm old. I currently play on an over 40 men's softball league. This is true. 9 out of 12 guys on our team had injuries this past year. But we're all old, so none of their injuries were from playing the game. Pete Trumsky, the third baseman, blew out his ACL stepping over a baby gate.
I thought you just improv this. Funny.
I think another reason why I feel old is I'm 46 with a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old, Like, there's a lot of acting involved in being a dad, A lot of pretending you care. I think I could win an Oscar for some of my performances in my own living room. The category would be nominees for Best Caring in a Non-Caring Situation by a Father. Joe, Luke's father, for saying, "Yeah, that really is a cool leaf." Best part about being a parent is really easy to have a good time once you have kids. Because all you have to do is not be with your kids. As soon as you walk out your front door, you're like, "Are we in the Bahamas?" That's it for me. Thank you.
Good set.
Great set.
Oh, that's awesome.
Standing ovation, like you said, Joe.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man.
Thumbs up. I give your dad a thumbs up, too.
You know how hard that joke was to do with my son sitting right there? Like, I had to have a pep talk with him yesterday. I pulled him aside. I'm like, listen, Luke, I'm going to be making fun of you up there.
You know what I like about you? You're teaching your kid early on that life sucks.
What do you think, Howie?
How long have you been doing this?
25 years.
25 years. A yes from me.
And Howard?
Can't wait to see you again.
It's a pretty cool moment.
Awesome, man.
The music doesn't hurt to really
That's great.
to sell it further.
I know.
And then my kids come on stage.
Yes.
Did you look at Joe's face trying to watch this again? Did you see?
Yeah.
It was like an old Jew watching Schindler's List to bring back these horrible memories. He's about to break into tears.
Well, that's not a horrible memory, though.
No, that's a good memory.
That's a really good memory right there.
Joe, can I ask you, like, when you...
Hey, you. Thanks for stopping by.
Because I know, like, you know, like you're nerve racked and all that with like the set, but like when you were even before your set talking and you were getting like those little laughs, did that give you like an insane like just boost of confidence? Like, I'm going to crush this right now.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot more of me talking and getting laughs. There was a moment where I talked about my medication. That's why I said they wanted the dad. Like they cut out. I talked all about being on antidepressants.
And it was killing.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
I got an applause. I looked at the whole. I said, man, 3 years ago before my meds, I'd probably be here scared. I go, but now that I'm on Celexa, 20 milligrams, I go, this feels incredible. And I'm looking out, and they're like,
oh, you mentioned the medicine. That's why. You shouldn't have named it.
Yeah.
I know. I should have just said medication.
No, they were going for the Family Guy. It's on.
Yeah, but also you can't name a medication.
So you did more than 90 seconds up there, and then they cut it down to your...
Yeah, I probably did 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's what I
all right. So
they told us going in, you could go over by like 30 seconds, but, you know, it'll get cut down.
Right. All right. So so that was a great moment, and then they filmed
the awful moment.
They filmed at your house. Yeah, let's get into this now. So then what happened?
This feels like it's my A&E biography.
No, I find it fascinating just how they put TV shows together and all.
Okay. So I go there where in the holding rooms and all that, and it's there's 6 13-hour days in a row with Subway sandwiches, which I think is inexcusable in New York City. We got good sandwiches everywhere. You're going to show up with not Subways like the brand Subway.
Right.
Yeah. Those are good.
I actually like the meatball parm.
I
really
actually like organic
the meatball
New York
parm.
food. No, it's terrible.
It stinks.
Not at all.
So I'm waiting to go on. They tell us there's going to be 1,500 people in the crowd. And I see all these stadium thing that they're building. They're building like an in-the-round setup.
Wow.
So they tell us we're going to have to perform in front of about 1,500 people in the round. Typical comedian, you're like, fuck, in the round. And I hate in the round because you got to start spinning around while you're doing your jokes and you start losing your focus. I got ADD, so I hate in the round.
Right.
I like to just look at a front row and talk to them. I want to talk to you, then move over, talk to you, then move over,
I
talk
pick
to
up
you.
people in the crowd, and all of a sudden you look at they're not there anymore. Where are the two gay guys? It's like a fat room. That's going to really.
Where's the guy in the wheelchair? I had 10 minutes of brand new sneaker jokes.
It's because that stage moves so slow.
It's awful.
You're the only one that doesn't know that it's rotating.
Maybe I'm a shitty comedian, but I played in the round where it didn't turn. You're just stuck.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
One in Old Westbury, right?
The Westbury, you just stand there.
Yeah, well, for me, it was perfect because who wants to look at half an empty room? Half the time I would have just been talking to a curtain.
Wait, where do they all go? Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, they're here. Okay.
I didn't sell a lot. All right, good.
Yeah, so I'm preparing. I even prepared the set that I was going to do because I was told there's going to be a big crowd. Now, you can tell from when you're doing 90 seconds, you got to punch it up a little bit, right? You want to get the punchlines fast, but I'm like, okay, big crowd. These are the jokes that I think are very audience pleasing. That's what I'm going to do in front of this 1,500 person audience. And then they tell us the next day they throw another curveball. They go, oh, well, we're going to have everybody in the crowd have these apps where they can vote. And they're instead of clapping, they're going to wave them, and you're going to see lights. And, and you're like, oh, God, that's going to be distracting.
Sure.
I'm going to perform for no applause. Just
I heard something in there, though. You said the next day, so you had to sit around all day, and they didn't use you.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of that. Wow. Just days. And there's a few days going where you're like, if you're making money at your career, which most, I think, of the talent that comes on these shows are very, they're newcomers. They're not making a living being fire eaters, or I don't think. You know, some of them are, some of them aren't.
Right.
So I'm in my head going, should I just fucking walk? Like, this is crazy. I'm like thinking in my head, Nick DiPaolo would not be here right now. Like, there's no way Nick's
He's
staying.
not putting up with this shit.
There's no way.
Yeah, Nick's never the best example we've ever had, though. There's always another. You should always go for a second example.
What would Robert Kelly do?
Yeah.
Would he walk?
We didn't doubt you for a second when you brought Nick into this. Of course, Nick wouldn't put up with this.
He wouldn't even. He wouldn't even have went for the contest.
No.
So I'm waiting, and then they bring us all together again, and they go, "Listen, we filmed 4 acts with an audience, and it didn't work. It didn't work. We had technical difficulties. We're going back to no audience like we used to always do it." And I'm like, "Okay, do I change my material? I have a day now. This is like day 4, day 5, and I'm
just sitting around.
I'm just sitting around.
And you're home, going into the venue every day?
Every day. They give you an 8 a.m. call time. They send you home at like 7 at night.
And where was this?
Down at the piers.
Down at the piers,
right, okay.
and then they would just take you around New York City and film you. That was hard too. They're like, if you do well in this boot camp round, you could get to perform in New York City. Wouldn't that be great? I go, I perform in New York City 7 days a week for the last 20 years. No, that wouldn't be exciting. I've done it. I'm tired of it, actually.
No, you got to act eager, Joe. That's where you went wrong. You should have went, the Big Apple for real?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, will I? I'll fly everyone in.
So I decide not to change my act. I'm going to do the act that I prepared. The other thing that went through my mind is no audience, 4 judges. Go out and throw them a curveball and not do a stand-up set. Go, let's have a conversation, because that's what this is. That's what I wanted to do. Called my wife. She goes, that's risky. Called my manager. That's risky. Just do your stand-up set that you're prepared. Which I kind of wish I didn't, because they couldn't have edited me in the way where you don't hear punchlines if we're just having a conversation. Who cares?
Right.
Yeah. So I go out there. Then they make us watch TV screens and watch other comedians do the no audience. And you're watching everybody kind of do very poorly, really. It's no audience.
Right.
And they also tell us these judges might not be very giving. Because that's what I've also explained to all my people that have emailed me and Facebooked me and tweeted me. I said, listen, I can perform in front of 4 people. That's what you do it in New York City. That's fine. If there are 4 people just sitting there with a smile on their face, okay, let's go.
Right.
I've had, as a comedian, sometimes you go into a room for a casting call and they go, do your act, and it's just one lady and a camera. I can do that. You're smiling, let's do it.
Yeah.
But 4 people just looking like they're miserable,
studying you.
And you're like, you saw me have a standing ovation. Why are you not smiling right now? Which I call out in the second episode. Right. I call it out, and they edit it so it looked like I kind of said it in the middle of my set.
Right.
Which I could be wrong. Once again, I have ADD. When you play this, you might.
But it's just a goofy TV show. Why do they have to now be serious?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's not that they had to be serious. I think it was to fit the storyline. Let's make Joe lose.
Well,
that's
they
what
loved
it felt
you
like.
so much the first time. To take a whole 180, it just seems ridiculous.
Well, 4 people is hard. Like, I've got built-in lines for 4 people. Like, I would have walked right in that room and gone, 4 people? I've molested more kids than are in this room. It's this hard, folks.
They were going for that dramatic moment.
Well, I don't know. I've always thought I was good at reading people very fast. You meet a guy, you meet a club owner at a club. Usually in like a minute, you can tell if this guy's going to book you back again, even before your performance.
Yeah. And you can tell if he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
If he says, hi, I'm the club owner, you're like, yes, he is.
Yeah. So they threw you this curveball, obviously.
Yeah.
Much different than performing in front of a huge audience.
Yeah, well, that annoyed me because Howard Stern said something where he goes, you got to be prepared, and he was unprepared. But like it was the coming back from commercial, so you didn't see who he was, but you just saw them before the commercial show me not look good.
All right.
So it was obvious that he was talking about me, and that's when I started to get really mad. I'm like, unprepared. You guys were unprepared. You told us there was going to be a crowd, then you lifted them out of the room and made us perform for no crowd. That's unprepared.
Yeah, if they said there's technical difficulties, that's them being unprepared.
Yeah, you're unprepared. You told me 1,500 people. I wrote my material. I'm ready to go. Then you tell me no people, and I don't have time to rearrange it.
Maybe he was trying to tell you got to be prepared for anything.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Why are you laughing?
So once again, I wouldn't have minded.
They would say.
I wouldn't have minded if they aired me not being funny, and just if you show my whole set and it bombs, I can handle that.
Yeah,
you know.
But there were a whole bunch of edits.
There's no. They cut before any of it. I could tell you the jokes and show you where there's punchlines. I did them up in Montreal at the gala. And
so
they
what? They cut out punchlines for the broadcast?
Yeah.
Can we see this?
That's the next one.
Is there more of the
Is it there?
And then you said
Muslim
something.
videos?
I read a few articles on this whole thing that happened with you and a few tweets. And then you're saying that some of the comments they made happened when you were not even there anymore, right?
None of the feedback that they say to me was said to me when I was really there.
So they filmed all that later.
I was standing next to two other comedians being sent home. They don't show them at all. It looks like I'm standing there alone. They zoom in on my hands, make them look like I'm, oh my God. Like,
right.
I remember not even, I thought they were going to just pass me through because we were told you could get sent right to Radio City. I thought that was going to happen because it went so well the first time. And now I'm like, why am I standing next to these two other people?
Right.
We're going home. Okay, here it comes. Here comes going home. Fine, all right, they said you're going home with no feedback. And then they air it with all this feedback.
Wow.
And then they cut it with no jokes. Show my jokes. So, because I remember there was a joke I said that got laughs from the other side of the wall. Right. I heard the comedians laughing when they watched me say it.
And they cut that out.
That's not there at all. It looks like
all right, so let's go through this.
Comedian.
Tell us when to stop it so you could, comment on what actually happened.
Feeling funny?
I feel all right.
Make us fall off. You have 4 mouths over
so
here.
You can stop right there. What comedian likes make us laugh? Be funny.
Right.
Be funny.
Right.
Yeah, it's like an urban crap.
It's impossible to go after.
Right. Yeah, you should have said something really off the cuff, like, boy, that's not really conducive with good times, is it? And then looked Riley at them.
People. Okay, Mr. Benny.
Yeah. You should have just done a bunch of Gaza jokes about what's happening in Israel.
Fall off. You have 4 mouths over here.
Okay, so I'll start. I'm, as you know, I'm 46 years old, 2 kids.
I hear the music.
Which has been killing me.
Boop-de-dope music.
They just start like doop.
Like you're bumbling.
Yeah, they don't care about your craft. They're just trying to make good TV, and they're using you in the process.
Here's the thing. For the record, I understand that they're making a show.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
But you guys have to understand, you could be hurting somebody's 25-year career by airing this that way. Just let the jokes play. Say you lost. This guy beat you. Fine.
They're paranoid. These shows feel like they need everything to be over-the-top produced. Everything needs like music and dramatic camera angles, and
they like to bring you really high.
Lights.
They give you a standing ovation, then make it look like, oh my God, he's homeless.
Right.
Well, they're playing the same music that they would play for Laurel and Hardy painting a house.
Say when you do a hip-hop station and they play the music in the background, if you have a Comic-Con, don't play the soundtrack when I'm trying to tell jokes.
Yeah, it's hard.
You did Blow last weekend?
I'll tell you about. Well, I'm not still on it. Let's get back to him.
I'm just amazed by that.
Yeah.
Wait, okay.
I wake up some mornings scared of what I did 20 years ago with drugs. Because I'm like, why did I take those chances?
Well, I don't really have a lot to live for now.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So it doesn't really matter. I just don't want to have a stroke. Just kill me now or let me keep going.
How's that daughter of yours? I was looking her up last night.
She's 26.
She's still acting and stuff.
She got a big hit. She was a pussycat doll. Now, let's play. Well, never mind. We don't need to concentrate on me. Yes, I'll be at Gotham this weekend, but let's get back to
we'll go back to Bobby in a second.
I appreciate that Bobby's letting me have this much time. Thank you.
Absolutely. No, this is fascinating to me, how they put these things together. So, wow, so you're just starting your stand-up, and they have to go with dramatic music over you. All right.
Now, imagine... I come home from the Montreal Comedy Festival. My wife had just been texting me, and I said, stop. I have to go perform for 3,000 people right now.
Don't tell me anything.
Stop telling me. I don't want to know.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I know some of the stuff from her text, and I'm going, maybe I shouldn't watch it. Maybe I shouldn't watch it. I wake up. I can't sleep. It's like 3 in the morning. I'm just up. I'm up. I go downstairs, and I turn it on, and I'm like, wow, it's worse than I thought. Like, I thought it was going to be, it's not going to be as bad. She warned me.
Right.
It's worse.
Man. All right. Let's keep stopping this tape when you feel like you need to talk.
2 kids, which has been killing me. I got to be honest. When I had 1 kid, it was so much easier. All I had to do was drink like 2 beers at dinner, and I'd be like, where's he going? You know? He just broke that thing I loved. Another thing is potty trading is brutal. I didn't know this.
All right, you can stop there. Now, that joke goes, one kid, I have to drink 2 beers at dinner. All you have to do is go, oh, you just broke that thing I love. I go, 2 kids, you need antidepressants. I go, I'm at the, so that's why they had to get rid of it.
Makes all the difference in the world.
But that's why they had to get rid of it. It was a 2, I'm in the doctor's office going, hey man, what can you do? He's like, you need 20 milligrams of Celexa. I go, can you up it to 40 milligrams? Right. I can make 1 copay, break the pills in half, get 2 months of medication.
Right.
I go, but stupid me, I go to the farm. I didn't know you're supposed to go to the pharmacy and buy a pill cutter.
Right.
I'm breaking pills with my thumbs. So one day I'm on an 8 milligram and the next day I'm on a 32.
Right.
1s and 2s rolling around on the kitchen floor. My son thinks they're candy. He picks some out. He's like, 5 weeks later, he's like, hey, Daddy, I don't need any more toys. I'm good. How many punchlines are there? 7?
And they cut all that out.
All of that.
And the first part doesn't make as much. The first part doesn't make as much sense.
No.
Yeah,
because it's a joke that's obviously building.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, this is the Kardashians are looking at watches.
And I'm a
terrible.
Here's the thing. And I'm a little off my game because they're blank staring. So you might hear a little no confidence in the voice.
Yeah, we understand that.
But all right, no confidence in the voice. If the jokes are good enough, at least people at home can go, well, that's kind of funny.
But they're not hearing the full joke.
If they heard the full joke and heard me without confidence, at least you could go, that's written funny.
Right.
Like, that guy's clever or whatever.
Right.
Did you hear the music? Was it that loud when you were on stage? Or did they edit after?
You don't hear that.
Oh,
no, that's hilarious.
You know that.
If they played that music, I would have fucking started cursing.
Right.
My Selexa's not that powerful.
Too bad you couldn't. You should have done like Billy Crystal in fucking Mr. Saturday Night, and just start doing those like one-liners he was doing when he came in for the read. Oh, that would have killed. I'm barely alive, hot. All right.
All right, continue.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Another thing is potty trading is brutal. I didn't know this when I was having kids. My son's just bent over, pants down, just waiting for me. And I just had enough, I'm like, you're 6. I look at him, you're 6 years old. Like, why do I still have to wipe you? Swear to God, this is his answer. He goes, 'cause it's gross. I'm like, oh, all right, well, let me do it then. That makes sense.
Now, stop again. They aren't showing me. They're just showing the judges not laughing to give effect that that's really super unfunny.
Right.
Which, if anyone has seen me on stage, and hopefully people that are listening right now have seen me, when I say, why do I still have to wipe you? And he goes, 'cause it's gross.
Right.
That joke always works.
You just know it's going to work every time.
It works every time.
Right.
And I go, oh, so let me do it then.
Right.
But dun chinka can't. And then slow down fucking George Carlin. If you put that music underneath, like Richard Pryor's greatest bit of all time, it might be a lot less fun. And you remove the laugh track and just play it audio.
And then they give the reaction shot of Howard just showing complete disgust and disappointment. Like you let him down. And it looks like that was shot after the fact.
It all was. It's like, that's why I was calling it porn editing in my tweets. Yeah. I'm like, it looks like porn when they just cut to the same thing over and over again. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
You kind of got raped.
All right. I think, is there one more thing?
Yeah.
You got to see that. Oh, well.
You guys are being tough on me on purpose. I could feel that. That's it for me. Thank you.
Oh, that's
Hi there, YouTube fans.
Ugh.
What?
Then they play like the Rudy music.
Well, I mean, the good news is it only has 5 views, this video, so at least nobody really, Newark saw the rest of it, but these shitheads, it was only 5 dickheads that saw this.
That's
real. 5 views.
That's why I felt so bad for Joe. I wanted to come on the show. My wife, who's watched a lot of comedy over the years, like I said, we watch that show all the time. When she saw you first time, I said, this guy's really great. I laughed at you. And most comics don't laugh. My wife goes, you think it's so funny? How come you're not laughing? Because comics don't do that. And I was cracking up. The next week, I called my wife from Montreal, and she said, oh, did you see your friend Joe last night? I said, no. She goes, he bombed. And that's when you told me the story. And she saw it like anybody else saw it, and they didn't get to see what you really did.
Right.
My wife was a fan. Not anymore, but,
My wife's the kind of person that if I'm out of line or I didn't do well and I lost something, like, she would be honest with me. She'd be like, Like but even she said, yeah, I could tell your performance isn't as good as it usually is, but I can tell they didn't show any of your jokes.
Right.
If you watch Wendy Lieberman, they showed them for she showed her 90 seconds without stopping.
Lieberman's on this show.
Yeah, she's on.
She's still on.
Yes, she's in the Radio City.
Did she have to go through the whole boot camp and everything, or did they just?
She was at boot camp because you see her in my shot.
You friends with her?
But they didn't air her in the first round, so she got no standing ovation shown.
You think she's hot?
I do. I think I like older Jewish ladies. That's my thing.
Really?
I do. Yeah.
I think she's kind of. I think she's kind of hot too. By the way,
that's why I think Bobby's hot. Yeah.
What else do you jerk off to? The Shining? She's fucking standing in the bathroom.
So, and then how did they kick you off? That's not on the video.
There's a video of me getting kicked off that's pretty horrendous too. That's
Really?
even worse because that's when I'm not getting any of the feedback.
Right.
I don't know if you want to show that.
Oh, yeah.
Can you find that?
Here we can. Sam, find it.
Go to the transgender.
I couldn't find it on
Indonesian
YouTube.
Muslims, and you'll find
It's only on my DVR at home.
That's pretty fucked up because your first set, it's pretty much exactly what you expected. Like, oh, cool. They cut a little thing out, but who cares? You got a great reaction. Your jokes played.
And
naturally.
Now that I'm thinking when they cut to the judges staring at me when I go, my son, why do I have to wipe because it's gross? That's the joke that got a laugh from all the comedians on the other side of the wall. Right. I remember them laughing right there, and I went, oh, wow, they liked it.
Right.
Wow. So was the audience laughing during that set? They cut that out too?
There's no audience.
There's no audience.
No audience.
Oh, it's just 4 people.
Not just 4 people. It's like a huge echoey room.
Right.
With this big shiny black stage.
Weird.
Did the judges laugh though when you did the gross joke?
They didn't laugh at any. No.
Oh, that was their reactions were real.
Because they weren't.
No, but they weren't.
They were told by the producers, don't laugh no matter what, because it makes for better TV.
Okay.
I have no doubt in my mind.
That's what most of the smart people that hit me up on Twitter said. I'm not even a comedian, and I can tell that they edited you in a way for effect to fit the story.
Right.
That sucks.
You know what happened to Joe? It's a minor version, and you guys have always heard this, about a director who does a film. That's his movie. The director, the writer, and maybe a special effects guy. And then he wants his name taken off the movie because the studio takes the movie. Not with the big directors now. They have total control, but you've heard these stories. I want my name taken off the film because the studio, same thing that happened to you on a bigger level, just butcher the film, and it's not the movie you made.
Right.
That's showbiz. It's
The American History X director had that happen. I saw him do stand-up where he was talking transcripts on stage, how angry he was.
I met him at the Comedy Cellar.
Really?
Yeah, Tony K. was downstairs.
Wait, what's that story?
What happened to him?
I don't know, but I know he was not happy with the American History X the way I think that he didn't want the kid to get shot at the end or something. He didn't like the way it worked out nicely.
I thought it was an Edward Norton situation where Edward Norton started to get involved in the editing and he fucking lost his mind and walked away from the film.
When Barry Levinson did that movie Rain Man, remember they drove cross country because he didn't want to fly. So they cut that out. Barry told me the story. They cut out the scene where he talked about all the planes that didn't crash. Qantas, remember all the planes? They showed that movie on airplanes. And when you show a movie on a plane, there are no scenes about planes crashing. So when they showed the film, they cut out the whole scene. There was no reason for them to drive cross country with this mental patient because they put him on a plane. They had the conniption, remember?
Right.
And they had to take Rain Man off, drove cross country.
Right.
Cutting that scene out, the movie makes no sense. Why is he driving cross country with his crazy brother when they could be on a plane?
Right.
That's why.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's great. You should see what they did to the Payne Stewart story.
I love his brain. It's amazing.
Died on a plane.
Payne Stewart.
That's great.
So like my big thing, Robert Kelly called me this morning and he's like, dude, be careful.
Could you get sued?
Oh, hold on, no, but I want to hear what lawyer Bob said.
What?
You know what the law says? What's it say? Bunch of shit, dude. He probably didn't say it. He probably said defamation. Dude, defamation is no good, dude.
Defamation.
So what
You could be liable, dude.
Yeah.
Basically, his advice was, when you're slamming NBC in a big show, that it could come back, And I don't want NBC I appreciate the opportunity. I just feel like you gotta understand that you could really hurt somebody's feelings bad here, and you need to know that you did. That's all I want to say.
I don't think you're slamming NBC. You're just kind of defending yourself and saying this is what happened in my set. You're not saying NBC should be killed. You're just saying, look, I did better than this, and I feel like they cut my jokes shitty. That's fair.
That's all I really want to say.
I feel like they get the comics together and they're, when they're discussing this and they're like, for whatever reason, let's say Dan Natterman. Is Dan still on the show?
Yes, he performed last night live.
So let's say...
How was he?
He did great, by the way.
By the way, sorry, but
I want Natterman to win.
Natterman's built for that because his jokes
He's
are
not gonna
so... I don't know, man.
No, he's not going to win because didn't a comic win last year?
He got a standing ovation
He came
last
close.
night.
Taylor Williamson, he came in second
You
last
can't
year.
beat those giant
Tom Cotter came in like third or fourth.
Okay, so all right, so he still has a
Taylor
shot
Williamson.
because they're not going to allow two comics to win, back to back.
Natterman's built for this, though. And he's brilliant, but I mean, he has that cadence of set up, punch, and he's very he's just perfect for this kind of thing, man.
Definitely. Well, so is Wendy Liebman, though.
Yeah, your act is not
I'm
perfect
slow
for this
motion.
because you're a guy who discusses. You're a different comedian.
I'm talking feelings and how
And you set up differently. You're not blow up, knock him down. You're the guy who'll go like, yeah, so I've been married for a while. Like you actually are talking differently.
Right.
And I have a feeling they already knew for whatever reason they were going to kick you off the show before you did your second set. So now it's the producers going, okay, how do we show this now? They didn't care.
How do we make it look justified?
Yes, because Dan has a different style that they're looking for, or a different look. Well, you were already gone before you did that.
Right. Well, I
would bet.
I already knew. I probably shouldn't say this on the air. I can't say it. But
you got it now.
No, go
it's part of the rules.
It's part of the rules here.
Yeah, no, you have to say it.
There were people. If you watch the show, I can say in a way I'm not giving anything away. If you watch the show, they grabbed people and let them skip that round. They let them skip boot camp, and Dan Natterman was somebody that they let skip.
Right.
So if you know that Dan Natterman is getting to skip boot camp, what does that make you think?
Right.
He's very fragile.
They got their guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got their guy.
They got their guy for that category.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it made me feel like.
Watch the finale. It'll be perfectly cast. You'll have one in each category performing.
I should have been on the show. I talked so fast they couldn't have cut me. I could have done my whole hour in that minute and a half. Then what do I do the next time? Then a whole another hour.
So when you do blow, you talk even faster?
No, I actually
slows down. Yeah,
I slow down.
What? You know this, Jimmy?
No, I was just saying he couldn't talk faster. It's impossible.
Gotcha.
I used to in the old days, and then I guess dolphins could understand me. I killed at SeaWorld.
I'm looking at my notes, seeing if I covered everything.
Yeah, I want to make sure you got it all out there because you're kind of bummed out.
This was kind of funny.
The Jews.
This is more funny. The Jews that they go, oh God, where have you been? Who are you? They said that at one point, right? Which is kind of funny because I've been on the Howard Stern show.
Right.
I opened for Artie Lang for years, and I still do. And I was at Artie's birthday party and met Howard Stern.
Right.
And also, there's one more to that. That I was on a show called Show in the Hallway on Howard TV, and Howard talked about how great he thought my performance was in that on his show. And then Howie Mandel saying, "Who the hell are you?" Howie Mandel introduced me on a gala in Montreal and mispronounced my name like twice.
Right.
And screwed my setup there because I had to keep coming back out.
Right.
And then I had to get like, it's hard to explain, but when someone messes your name up twice, it just sucks.
Right.
It's humiliating because you feel like the audience thinks I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
And Howie, by the way, is such a nice guy. That must have been edited weird because Howie's not going to kill another comic and make it look terrible.
No.
Especially if you're a nice dude. No. Howie's just a nice guy.
Yeah, I really shouldn't say anything bad about the judges because I really believe in my heart they have nothing to do with it.
Oh, I believe that. It's all the producers.
Yeah.
And they're being told what to do as well.
Joe on Twitter, Joe, is the Joe Matarese, Matarese, if you want to tweet Joe or follow Joe too.
There was also a round that I didn't talk about before the JPAC in Newark, New Jersey, where we had to go to this car dealership in New York City and wait in line for like 7 hours. My manager set it up, and I still had to wait 7 hours. And I had to go in for one lady. She goes, "I like it. Now I need you to read for the producers." Then I went in front of 5 producers at a long table, kind of very Mr. Saturday Night like in that scene where he has to act. Huge room, 5 producers, and I performed fine right then with no crowd because they liked me enough to put me in. Right. I had to audition to get in that live show. Did well, and I remember in that room I said, a lot of comedians don't want to do this show. And they go, "Why?" And I go, "Because you can edit them and like you can make things look a different way than they are." They go, "We don't do that." Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You're here to say yes.
I'm here to say you do, and I remember you saying that.
Wow. There you go. All right. I think you got it out, man.
I think I got it out.
Check your notes. Chris in San Diego.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
Welcome aboard, Chris.
Hey, real quick before I get to the reason why I called, I did see both episodes with Joe, and the second episode, they edited it, made him totally look like he was afraid of performing in front of 4 people, threw him off his game, and he didn't know what to do, and he just carried on. So you can definitely tell there was some editing.
He wanted you to think that with the, the angles they picked, the music.
Yeah, the music.
The cutaways. That's sad because you go from that high of the standing ovation and all that to that.
Yeah.
That's a bad way to go out.
You mean the baby diaper commercial music where the little kid's trying to put a square thing in a round hole?
And forget that I was there for 6 days, 13 hours a day, changing outfits over and over, carrying my, and I live in Westchester, New York. It's not like a free trip. I'm paying on Metro North every day. I'm carrying stuff through the rain. I remember getting there, sitting there for 12 hours. So then, so then to have it
end that way, right?
Maybe if it was one day and I got sent home and I watched it on TV, I'd be like okay. I'm like, that's like a week's worth of work that I'm not getting paid any money for. By the way, you don't get paid, so don't think I got money when that aired. I got nothing. I put in long days, and then you make me look bad when I don't think I did do bad.
I'm just fast forwarding 10 years when Joe's on stage like Lenny Bruce reading the papers and Metro North. That's not cheap, I have receipts.
So Lenny might have lost his mind.
Oh boy, did Lenny go off the deep end?
He might have just a little bit.
I pray that NBC understands. Like I want to do the Tonight Show someday. I don't want to have this be the thing.
I won't do it.
No,
you don't think this is going to matter?
No, not at all. That second video is going to hurt a lot. But I mean, this
you might have burned a bridge today, but you gave us great radio. What else, Chris?
Hey, so Quentin's mentioned in many interviews, probably the best thing that ever happened to him is he wrote True Romance. And while they were filming it, Christian Slater's character originally died in it, and the studio kept him alive. He got so pissed about it, he said that you guys had to buy the rights to the movies and the screen for me and take my name off it if you want this movie to come out. And they paid him like $50,000 or $60,000 for the movie. And he said that gave him enough money to film Reservoir Dogs. And that's what made Quentin quit.
Oh, so it actually worked out. It's funny. As much as it makes me I like the fact that he lived at the end, and he had one eye, and he named the kid Elvis. It just made me happy.
Well, another thing about that movie, they say the greatest scene in it is if you watch the scene between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, up until Dennis Hopper says, history's my thing. After that, that's all ad-libbed. And you can tell by Christopher Walken's reactions why they filmed it. So Dennis Hopper ad-libbed that whole scene before he got killed.
I think that's what you should have done in front of those 4 judges, is done the Hopper speech.
Yeah, with the N-word. What you should have done, should have, could have. Next show. Next competition show, Joe.
Another movie, this is like stirring my memory up. I think I saw James Caan on an Inside the Actor Studio, and he said that he didn't like the edit of Godfather, and he can't watch the movie, even though it's this incredible movie. It being changed in a way that he didn't like made him not be able to watch it.
Well, they edited it wrong because in the actual original shooting, James Caan beat his sister with a garbage can and went home to Carlo, and he said they fixed that. Boo.
The studio didn't want Pacino. They wanted Robert Redford for that part. In Coppola, they didn't want Pacino. Robert Redford in that part, in the Al Pacino part.
Right. They thought he was too soft, right? They thought he was too meek in the way he was doing it, Pacino.
And too new, right?
Yeah, and they didn't understand the transformation he was going to make in that moment where he was sitting in that chair. So he was all like, meek and quiet, and they're like, this is not the right guy.
Right.
Boy, were they wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had James Caan in here. He's a cool dude.
They didn't want James Caan either. Yaphet Kotto. They wanted to play
Yaphet Kotto. I love Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah, me too. He's phenomenal.
There were even people at America's Got Talent, I'm not going to say names, that worked there that I had seen since, and they didn't know the results yet. And I go, I'm not going any further. And they went, you're kidding. Like, they really didn't believe it. They were like, I was there. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. They go, your first round should have been enough. They go, you had banter, you had the story with your kids, you had a great set.
They picked you to use you for that second video that we watched. It's obvious.
Yeah.
They just picked you.
I love Opie.
Yeah. But he's right. He's totally right.
I have a feel for some of these things. I really do.
Well, good, because there's some people that sent me messages going, wow, you bombed. And then, you're like, for every
they already
bomb,
knew you weren't moving on, and they said, okay, we could use him for this dramatic thing we're going to do with the comics performing in front of just us.
Yeah.
You were used.
They realized they needed what they needed, and they're like, how do we make it look like we're justified in having him go? They can't have you kill him and go, all right, go home.
Right.
And
but at least you were picked for that, I guess. No, because there were probably other comics they didn't pick for that. Like, that one's not good enough to really just trash.
Well, I know a comedian who was completely edited out, and he said he'd rather have what I have than be not on the show at all. I go, really?
Yeah.
I think, of
course.
Good for you,
really?
Coming forward, because I think you're sticking up for a lot of your fellow comics.
Yeah,
man.
don't do these shows, comics. You really shouldn't. Just go make it in another way, because that's not going to be how I make it. How many guys make it that way? It's like there's like hardly
Terry Fader
any.
didn't do nothing for him. Oh, what bad example.
But that's like a ventriloquist, like a straight stand-up
made
comedian.
$1 billion off it.
You watch Last Comic Standing? I mean, I can see where you're a young comic doing that, but then you get some pros on the show, and you're getting mentored by comics half your age telling you what to do. Have you watched the show?
No.
It's fascinating, and it's a train wreck.
Jimmy Schubert
getting Amy Schumer, who I love, telling her what to do. I mean, she's great, but she's a woman and she's half his age. And poor Jimmy, you have to listen to their advice on the show.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Weird.
I like the veterans doing it. I actually feel bad for Dat Fan. He's just a guy doing stand-up who got humiliated by winning.
Right.
But I like that Schubert and DC Benny and all these real comedians, or guys like you and Wendy, they're like veteran comics at least who belong on TV. And Dan.
And even in that first read through with the producers, they were like, "Wow, we want more comics like you to do the contest." And I'm like, all you would have had to do is not do that slop edit job on me, and you would have had a lot of comedians, good ones, probably do your show every year. But you watch that, how many comics go, God, I don't want that to happen to me, and then we're not doing it now.
Well, guys like Tom Cotter are perfect, because Tom, again, is set up and boom, boom. Like Tom's very rhythmic, and his setups and punchlines are almost impossible to cut because it's 1, 2.
Right.
So Tom's the guy you get 20 jokes out in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm an editor's dream. You watch me pause, you go, all right, let's show 6 reaction shots right there.
Right, let's chop it right here.
Yeah.
I want to take one more call from Matt in Connecticut. Matt.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Pretty
Hello,
good.
Matt.
Matt, are you coming to my gig this weekend at Foxwoods?
Oh, yeah, comics at Foxwoods.
By the way,
Joe
Bobby's
Matarese.
here at Gotham, Bobby Slayton here in New York City, Gotham Comedy, and Joe is going to be at Foxwoods in Connecticut, which is a great room, comics.
Right.
And then Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone, August 7 through 10, and then Vinny's room in Jersey, August 21 through 23, Stress Factory.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, if you want to hear me unedited and uninterrupted. Yeah. Well, there still could be hecklers interrupting, but
yes,
I'd rather have that than dead air.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Yeah, man, I get you. I'll see you there, man. Listen, if you take a look at the disclaimer at the very end of the show, the $1 million prize is actually paid out over 40 years.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that too. If you take a payout, you can take a payout, and I think you get $250.
Yeah,
to take the payout.
Why can't they just pay the $1 million? They're making a shitload of money off a show like that.
Silly.
Just pay the fucking $1 million.
Over 20 years?
40.
40.
What cocksuckers?
So you would get your last payment at 86.
40 years. How much is that a year? $1 million times divided by 40.
$25,000 a year.
$25,000 a year. You can't do shit with $25,000 a year.
Taxes.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice to have that added to your salary. But I mean, you're thinking $1 million. Like, oh fuck, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to go, upgrade my house or something.
Right. And in 30 years, that'll buy you a steak. $30,000. It's not going to be worth anything.
Not 40 years.
But you would never do it. You would take the payout.
Of course,
they know that too.
Yeah, they know that.
So they save the money that way.
Save it.
I wouldn't. I would take the fucking $1 million over 40 years.
Over
I'd leave
40
it to whoever was buying.
fucking years.
Absolutely.
You're going to pay every cent.
That's right.
All right, Matt.
Once a year, I'd cockily walk out to that mailbox. No, it was a big check day.
There you go.
$12,000.
40 straight years.
I felt like cramming in a Jim Florentine right there. You gotta fucking do it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking take it all at once? Why?
Yeah, why?
Stupid.
Fucking stupid.
Make them pay.
You got money coming in, you might as well take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Fucking, that's a problem.
Leave it to your fucking.
That's a
leave it to your fucking neighbor.
Go to Applebee.
Gigi.
Why would I take the payout?
Yeah, why?
I'm not 12. I love when he does that.
Jim's a curmudgeon.
I love Florentine more and more every day.
Dude, thank you so much for letting me come on here. I was very nervous about it. Robert Kelly, thank you for calling me. And I think
you had to. I really do.
Yeah,
I don't think you're being nitpicky because you really do look bad in that second.
You didn't shit on the show either.
That second spot.
I watched the show last last night. I watched. I even wrote a tweet saying vote for Dan Natterman, and I'll write it again next week. We'll vote for Dan.
Yeah, but that's not going to go well in the defamation testimony. That's not going to help though. But I watched the show.
My father-in-law's a lawyer. He goes, you got to just shut up. Don't say anything. Don't go on any shows. I had no choice. I go, dude, you don't understand.
Because now this will be the story, at least.
I've been waking up every day feeling like
freaking out, right?
Like I'm not that guy. I don't get like that.
And you finally get on NBC on a big fucking show, and then they do that to you.
But besides, why would they? First of all, if they sue a comedian for just coming out and talking about something, they look like dicks. And then if Discovery comes through Discovery, if you have certain questions or whatever, they're going to have to open up and say this is exactly how we shot it. And this is who the fuck wants to do that? They'd rather just have you say I didn't like it.
I'm not worried about being sued. I'm worried about my career. If I get a sitcom and we want to sell it to NBC, and they're like, "Oh, that's that guy."
No, not at all. Not at all. That's fine, dude.
That's why I wanted you to come on, because I wanted you to go down with me. Nothing's happening for me. I wanted some company.
Exactly.
Well, that's how bitter I'm getting over the business. I'm like, you know what? All right. There's a lot of other networks. I can burn a bridge to one.
There's a million channels. ABC, CBS, NBC are not the places anyway. It's too hard to get on there.
Yahoo, we learned yesterday, just picked up Community.
Yeah.
There's many other outlets now.
Yeah.
59 still doing cool.
Yeah, watch my web series, by the way.
I did it once 2 weeks ago.
I want to sell that as a TV show.
Yeah.
One line. Well, no, I need closure before we leave. Somebody give me
I need closure.
I'm just
plugging shit.
Closure. I need closure. Opie, I'm not leaving until we have closure. 3 weeks ago, last week, I'm doing 3 shows on a Saturday night. After the second show, I'd done morning radio in Montreal, and somebody came backstage and said, "You want a line?" And I'm not doing about a Sam Kennison line. I'm doing a look. That's it. And I felt great, and my head was clear. It was like doing one of those energy shots. That's all.
I'm not judging you. I hope you know that. I'm just amazed that you would take that chance at 59.
A chance again. Where am I going? I can't get America's Got Talent. You know, I'm lucky if I get invited back here. Where am I going? So what the hell? Why not?
We're over our issues.
My daughter's 26.
We're over our issues.
I don't have kids. I don't have kids at home anymore. There's nothing for me.
She's still acting.
Come on, Bobby.
No, she's a musician.
I feel like talking to Bobby for a second, one-on-one. I'm going to sound like a therapist, but dude, you're like a legend. You're a great comedian. You're a legend. You're not nothing. When I watch you perform, I'm like, that is a that is a pro, and there's not many of them. Yeah. You're one of them.
Speaking of pros, you know the way I met Norton. Of course, he remembers.
Didn't even sink
prostitute.
in at all.
I know. No compliment.
Why can't you take a compliment?
Okay, then. Now, the way I met Norton.
What's nothing?
I got to tell you the story. I was up in Montreal.
He's not listening. He's on his Twitter.
And I host this nasty show, and some agent was saying to me, I'm going to see Dave Attell tonight and Jim Norton. And somehow he said, "Do you know Jim Norton?" See, about 20 years ago, Norton opened up for me. I was up at the Laughing Wolf in Poughkeepsie. And he goes, "Norton opened up for you." And I'll never forget this. We talk about this all the time. We went hiking through an apple orchard. Me and Jim Norton hiking. Can you imagine? And the guy says to me, "You and Jim Norton went hiking? What, were you burying a hooker's body?" How the guy knew. But hiking in an apple orchard.
Bobby was very nice to me. Yeah.
Well, why would you guys go hiking?
We had nothing else to do. It's just a fun thing to do during the day. We went out to dinner. Yeah, it was a very lovely afternoon.
But have you seen his penis?
He's never seen it. No.
See, you're not friends. You're not real friends then.
No.
You've seen
all his real friends. Yeah, we've all seen his penis.
Really? He sat in the back seat while I got blown by a girl who he had just thrown in a 50-gallon drum of garbage.
He's missing some of the better parts of the story. She was on a bus from Cleveland for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
And then right after the show, after he bent her over a toilet during the radio show.
That's right. I took her in the back and I fucked her over the toilet
during the commercial break.
Gunked on her. Yeah.
And then the show's over, and she's probably assuming she's going to see New York and maybe go out to dinner with Norton. And oh no, it's time to get back to the Port Authority. So I take the ride with him. I'm in the back seat. I know what's going on.
This is 2002.
We're going right through Times Square, and her head disappears, and I'm like, I know what's going on. But of course, Jim has to now adjust the rear view, so I get a perfect view of it.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm like, don't worry. If I wanted to see, I would have peeked over the top of the seat.
I have renewed respect for you now, Norton. I always loved you, but now you've run to another level.
But he puts her right back on a 15-hour bus ride to Cleveland.
What's worse?
Minutes after the show's over. Yeah. Minutes.
It's not as bad as being in Newark for America's Got Talent, so it could be worse. Could be worse.
All she did was blow a middle and fucking get on a bus. Good for her. Good girl.
Anyway, I guess we could wrap up for today.
Let's get the plugs out.
Joe, first time on the show. Come on back and see us.
Dude,
Joe
thanks
Matarese.
so much.
It's going to be at Comics in Foxwoods this weekend, starting tomorrow.
And your web series is called Fixing Joe. It's a podcast, new episodes every Thursday.
No. That's the podcast.
Okay.
The web series, there's just 13 episodes. They both have the same name. You got to go on YouTube to find the web series. There's 13 episodes. It's not a podcast. The web series is actually like little sitcoms.
Nice. Okay.
Fixing Joe, but the
Bobby,
podcast.
all right, enough of you already. And Bobby will be where?
Where are you
will
going to
I
be, Bobby?
Gotham Comedy Club this weekend.
Yeah.
Bobby, obviously a very, very funny comedian. What's today?
And you
Wednesday?
are a legend.
And I held back. You got to admit, I was good. I
was
came on
amazed
to
how
let
long you were able to stay
Yes,
quiet.
Yes,
It's a
wanted
new
Joe
record
to
for you.
talk. I wanted him to tell that story.
But you also listened and were engaged. That helps a guy like me. So
it's
thank you.
fascinating.
Are you a good listener?
Only when people are doing worse than I am. I'm fascinated. I like to hear. I see a guy with the pencil in the head coming out of the helmet. I look at the guy, give him $1, and I go, I could be this guy, which I will be soon. You know. So,
Who'd you come up with again? Dana Carvey?
well, it was me in San Francisco. You know.
Who was your circle?
It was Robin Williams and Dana Carvey and Kevin Pollak, who, by the way, I never see on your show. I don't know what they do now. It was
Kevin's on. We love Kevin.
Oh, Kevin's great.
Yeah.
It was
He doesn't get to New York often, but when he does, he's here.
Yeah.
We get him a couple times a year.
Yes,
he put us in that movie of his. That's kind of cool.
Oh, Wayne's World 2. What?
No, Kevin, not Dana.
Oh, I was in a movie. Well, that movie. Which movie?
Kevin's documentary on comedy.
Oh, it's not out yet, is it?
No, but he told us it was in it.
Yeah, they filmed a lot of it in my house.
I still love that
In
you
your
thought-
actual
Yeah, actually, Pollak told me I started to cry. I cried.
During your part?
Yeah, I never cry on TV. I was talking about Bill Graham, the late rock promoter, who he died when I was playing.
Bill Graham loved you.
Bill Graham was a great guy.
You were telling Bill Graham stories last time you were here.
He had the Fillmore, and anyway, he had a club
Yeah.
in San Francisco, and he was killed when he was coming back in a helicopter crash from seeing Huey Lewis. And I was doing 3 shows for him that night, and I'm thinking, Bill, if he would have been killed coming back from the Stones, but Huey Lewis, what a way to go.
Was that with Stevie Ray Vaughan?
No, that was a different helicopter.
That was a different helicopter crash. Okay.
So I was telling the story. They have a big picture of my house of me and Bill, and giving the figure to Journey. I told you the story last time. So I had a little tear in my eye. I said to Pollak, "Don't leave that in." He goes, "I got it." Bobby Slayton crying. Shows.
Yeah, why wouldn't you leave that in? It's,
you gotta leave
it's, not
that
like
in.
it's not like you're doing it for no reason. It's your friend passed
but
away.
I don't like to look like I'm human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to show that
What's
side.
that about? What happened to you?
I don't know. We
What
don't have
happened
to
to
get
you?
into that. I need a line.
What happened to you?
I need some
What happened to you growing up?
I don't know.
Exactly. Young Bobby was all hyper in bed when he was 6, kicking his little feety PJs, and the neighbor came in.
I don't know.
Taught your asshole a lesson.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah,
See
of
how
course he knows.
He's
I'm trying to
squirming.
remember.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember.
and that's why Bobby talks fast, because he was just trying to talk through the molestation. To pretend it wasn't happening. So what are you going to do after?
No, you bring back memories. They flood my brain.
Yeah. Guy's deep
You don't like
fucking
showing emotion, huh?
Oh, I do when I see my dog, and I think he's going to die someday.
Yeah, so did David Berkowitz. That doesn't make you a good guy. Fuck, I had higher hopes for that one.
Yeah, Son of Sam, nice.
Thank you.
I liked it.
I appreciate it.
I'm
Maybe
into
it deserved.
Summer of Sam was a
It
good
got what
movie.
it deserved.
Jared Leto. Yeah.
Summer of Sam was a good
It was a decent movie.
All right. And Chris, where are we at? Seattle this
yeah,
weekend.
I'll be
I
at
remember
Parlor Live in Bellevue, Washington,
Great
Seattle
club.
area. Oh, yeah.
Great club.
First time out there, going there, so yeah, come out Seattle.
Bring an umbrella. Rains a lot out there. Open with that. Hey, folks.
Hey, you want some coffee? Jerk off?
Are we done? I got to pee. I really
have to
got to
plug
Go
in.
pee. Go pee.
My Vice second episode of my Vice show comes out today with Freeway Rick Ross is my interview.
Any moment now, it'll be up on Vice.com.
Yeah, they just throw stuff up when they want to.
We'll tweet when we see it.
And then I'm at Cobb's in San Francisco, August 7th through 9th, and the Improv in Dallas, August 21 through 23. Syracuse, September 4th through 6th, the Funny Moon.
Okay. That's it. Thanks to everyone in the room.
Thanks for having me,
Thanks for
pal.
having me.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay, don't be. Love you guys.
All right.